Welcome to another podcast of the current situation of Manchester United. It's been a while I've done a video. I know that actually it's been like over 2 months. But in this video, I'm going to be doing something different. I'm going to be hailing the praises of a rival player that will believe in this rival club of Manchester United. Now, I know that most of you guys, rivalry aside, respect this player of what he's done in the modern era of the Premier League. And this player that I speak of is Mohamed Salah. Yesterday, Mohamed Salah came out with the breaking news that he was leaving Liverpool. And it's not, the thing is this. If you have been watching Premier League for like a couple of years, say at some point, particularly if you Liverpool fans, because I don't even care for you Liverpool fans, but if you're a Liverpool fan, at some point that Mohamed Salah was going to plug the cord on you. That at some point, down the line, he was going to leave a club. Now, here's the thing. He said he was going to leave Liverpool. He said he wasn't going to leave the Premier League. He said he was going to leave Liverpool so he could still play in the Premier League and play against Liverpool. But no, he stated yesterday that he was going to leave Liverpool at the end of the season in the summer. Now, again, this is something that doesn't really surprised me, because if you have been seeing how Salah has been playing, I know I haven't watched Liverpool's game like that, but if you have seen how he has played, particularly you Liverpool fans, man, you guys have seen him for like the better part of 9 years, so you know how he is. You know that for the last 2 years, 2 seasons, Mohamed Salah has not been the best Salah. He has not been the best version of Mohamed Salah. And see, person were even calling him and saying, you know what, I think it's time you just cut ties with Liverpool, and you go to Saudi Arabia, make a lot of money, play football there, or you get you get an easier time scoring goals there, you get a lot of money to support the family, you can go to Egypt and send the money there to Egypt to support Egypt, like what Sadio Mane is doing in Senegal. We could do that, but he stayed for the better part of 2 seasons, despite not playing his best football in the last 2 seasons that he's been at Liverpool. Now, some person may say that Salah has changed this game. He's became more of a playmaker. He's become more personable. He's become less selfish. Salah at the end of the day is Mohamed Salah, bro. He selfish, selfish or not, he's still gonna score goals and assists. But I think the reality has hit him that he knows that he's not much of a favor to this bald-head brethren named I don't even remember his name. The Liverpool current manager. I call him Hank Schrader because he looks like Hank Schrader from Breaking Bad. He knows that he's not going to play his best football. He's past his peak. He knows that. Mohamed Salah knows that he has passed his peak, and he has passed his peak for a couple of years now. So that reality has sunk into the point where he's made the decision to say, yeah, I believe it's time. I leave Liverpool and go elsewhere and see where elsewhere has to take me. But in this video, I'm going to talk as to why Mohamed Salah, I know this is a controversial topic, but it has to be said. In my opinion, Mohamed Salah is more of a Premier League legend than Cristiano Ronaldo, because apparently since his, this has been debated even before he contemplated about leaving Liverpool. But now he's leaving Liverpool, it's now come to more light whether or not CR7 has a bigger legacy in the Premier League over Mohamed Salah's legacy in the Premier League. That's what I'm going to discuss about. But first, finishing up on Salah, man, he has, dude, I've to be honest, when he signed for Liverpool in 2017, in August 2017, I wasn't expecting this Belgian to just light up the Premier League the way he did. I didn't expect him to be like one of the main faces of the Premier League. I didn't expect him to. I was even telling someone that he supports Liverpool. Funny enough, his brother supports Chelsea and used to support Chelsea. Two of them used to support. His older brother supports Chelsea, and his brethren, that's the younger brother to his older brother, used to support Chelsea. I know he's gone to Liverpool. So when he started to support Liverpool, and Salah signed for Liverpool, he said, you know what, Salah is going to be the next big thing for Liverpool. And mind you, this guy's a 26-year-old now. This Egypt guy joined Liverpool when he was 26 years old, and he's saying the sensation. This sensation is going to join Liverpool and it's going to transform Liverpool into a massive club. Well, for him to even say a massive club, Liverpool fans got it that as an insult because they're going to always think that Liverpool has been a massive club. But continuing, he said, "Oh yes, Salah is going to line up the Premier League, this and that, blah blah blah." And at the time I didn't even buy into it because I'm saying I've looked at the recent transfers, man. I know you guys signed Firmino, and Firmino did good in his first season. You guys signed Mane the following season. I know you guys go sign Salah. I mean, we have to. Speaking of Chelsea, this guy used to play at Chelsea. He used to be a player at Chelsea. He was a flop at Chelsea, and that's why Chelsea go sell him. Chelsea sold him. I guess it's because of a game time, and funny enough, Mourinho was the manager at the time, so he wasn't getting no game time, and I guess he wasn't in favor of Mourinho. So Mourinho go sell him to whichever club that bought him. I don't remember the club. I think is Basel, FC Basel. Yes, I think that club is in Switzerland. So he went there and he did this thing. He went to Roma and he did this thing. He went to Fiorentina and he did this thing. And lo and behold, for some reason, Klopp was signed his brethren from Roma on for a decent amount of money. And ever since, for the better part of 9 years at Liverpool, this guy has scored 200, I think either 225 goals or 255 goals. I believe one of the two. And he has at least 122 assists in all competition for Liverpool. And he's like in the top 5 top scorers in the Premier League's history. And he's one of the top assisters in Premier League history too. But who do you consider a better legend in the Premier League? Cristiano Ronaldo or Mohamed Salah? I have to say Salah. And it's a Manchester United fan saying that. And I'm going to give you reasons, of course. I'm going to say why I believe Salah is the better legend in the Premier League. I didn't say better player. Don't mix up my words. I said the better legend in the Premier League. Because people want to take it, people don't want to be specific when them say, oh, who is better? Cristiano Ronaldo in the Premier League or Salah in the Premier League? People have to be specific. People have to really be specific. But yeah, my take is Salah. And I say Salah because look at the players this Belgium played with. Yes, they had a very fluent front line in their prime time. Mane, Firmino, Salah. Look at the players aside from the front line, and you look at what they accomplished with that lineup, with that squad. Liverpool, they won the Champions League. Some person even need to expect them to win number one, people didn't even expect them to go to the Champions League final for one, and people didn't expect them to even win the Champions League. But I guess when they beat Bayern away from home with that Sadio Mane chip, person were saying, you know what, Liverpool can go places. They can actually go and win the Premier League, the Champions, because you have to understand the previous season they went to the Champions League final and they lost it against Real Madrid. Liverpool got spun in that Champions League final against Real Madrid. And that following season, they went back to the Champions League final against Tottenham for... I don't even know what Tottenham is doing there, to be honest. And some person say it's the worst and the most boring Champions League final ever. Not Liverpool, because they won the Champions League final. So, but it goes to show, say, even with the squad that they had, they didn't have no flashy player squad. They didn't have the best player squad. They had a prime Virgil van Dijk in defense. They had bombing wing backs in the prime of Robertson and the uprising of Trent Alexander-Arnold, which was still one of the best right backs, although he was still a young youth. Look at the midfield. You have Keita, that is bang average, and he was a flop too. You had Henderson, Henderson is no Gerrard, I'll tell you that. And Liverpool fans will tell you that. This Belgian is no Gerrard. This Belgian was no Gerrard. But he had whatever he had matched in his tenacity, his ability to press, and his stamina is what allowed him to suit in Liverpool's system. But they were not a flashy team, at least in terms of names. They played flashy football, front, fast, attacking type of football, yes, with mainly the front three doing them work of Salah, Firmino, and Mane, of course. But I mean, they saw Coutinho, so Coutinho didn't make the cut. But they didn't do much. They didn't have much quality like that. Their squad depth was not deep. Was not that deep. It was not deep. You look at Cristiano Ronaldo's prime time at Manchester United between 2007 and 2009. I would even say his prime time at United, Cristiano Ronaldo, was at least 2006 to 2009 before he left to Real Madrid. This is why I said that this bridging, I'm going to concentrate on the Premier League, although I just mentioned the Champions League, but I wanted to show you why I say Salah, because of the squad that he played in, the style, the lineup that he played in, compared to the lineup that Ronaldo played in from 2007 to 2009 or 2006 to 2009. Okay? Look at Man United. Look at the squad that Man United had between 2007 and 2009. We had players, great players in droves. We had players on the bench that would have started, that other clubs would have cut off their mother toe to start. And we had them on the bench. We had Giggs, who was coming to reaching his end. He was getting, he wasn't in it. This was not the 1990s Giggs bombing down the left wing, whatever, and doing this thing. This was the 2000s, the late 2000s Ryan Giggs that was playing more centrally. You had Scholes that was reaching his end too, and he was still a world-class player. You had Michael Carrick. You had Darren Fletcher. These were good players. These were not squad players. These were good players. And they happened to be on the squad, on the bench, because they couldn't start because of the quality that was already starting. You had Owen Hargreaves. You had Anderson. That was one of the best young midfielders at the time. And they were starting midfield. You have Ronaldo, which persons consider him a midfielder. Let me distort something real quick. That's a fallacy. That's a lie. Ronaldo was never a midfielder. I'm going to explain why he wasn't a midfielder. You have to understand tactics and not just go on formation. In the formation, Ronaldo started in the traditional 4-4-2 under Sir Alex Ferguson, when the 4-4-2 was very prominent in the Premier League. Most Premier League sides were using the 4-4-2 until some yayo from Portugal named Jose Mourinho came to the Premier League and started coming with the 4-3-3, and the 4-3-3 caught the Premier League off guard, and that's why he won the Premier League twice in a row from 2004 to 2006 at Chelsea, and then that's when Sir Alex Ferguson adapted to him. But I say that because Ronaldo played as a right midfielder and he switched to the left mid in 2006 because that's where he started to score more goals. Peep this. Even if he's playing as a left midfielder or a right midfielder, you have to understand this Bridgen is given instructions to go wide and to go in the box and score goals. When you go forward, you are a forward. That is what you do. He's given the instructions to go forward and score goals. This Bridgen not know Darren Fletcher. When Darren Fletcher was playing right mid, he had instructions to stay back and actually be a midfielder, because he's actually a midfielder. But he was playing right mid. If Ronaldo go play right mid, he's not giving those instructions to play right mid. This Bridgen on paper is playing right mid, but he's giving instructions to go run down the wing and go in the box and score goals. So he's no midfielder. He was never a midfielder. Truth be told, he's not a midfielder. Now, see, I lost my train of thought. But I was saying that look at the players that we had in from 2000 to 2009. We had Rooney, Tevez, Ronaldo, of course. We had Luis Saha, despite his injuries. I think we sold when we sold Saha. No, we still had Saha. Then the following season in 2008, 2009, we got Berbatov from Tottenham. That's more firepower. We didn't even sell Ronaldo yet. But that was Ronaldo's last season. We had more firepower up top. The midfield was stacked. The defense was peak. We had Evra. We had Gary Neville was decent. Decent. He wasn't mid. He was decent. He was still good, but he was decent. We had Wes Brown. Owen Hargreaves was playing right back and in midfield, mind you. We had a young Raphael that was coming through the ranks. We had who else? Of course, Rio Ferdinand and Vidic. And we had Evra. Exactly. And we had, of course, the big man in the goal, Van der Sar. So that is by 10 times, in my opinion, better than the squad what Prime Salah played in. And you look at the impact in the Premier League against those two clubs. Which player shines out of that squad of Liverpool? And which player, of course, we go say Ronaldo, of course, because that's Sir Alex Ferguson made Sir Sam the main man after Van Nistelrooy left. And that's where he started to change the formation. And he started to play a 4-3-3 or 4-4-2 with one of the wingers going forward and one of the wingers dropping, which was arguably Ryan Giggs. So Giggs would join the midfield and the winger would also join the front, would make the front three up top with Rooney and Tevez or whoever else, or Nani. I forgot Nani. Nani was a part of the squad too. So we were stocked. And out of those players, man, of course Ronaldo his name is going to reign supreme because he's Ronaldo. But you have to understand what Salah made. This Belgian got scored 44 goals in his first season. This Belgian was never in his lifetime before going to Liverpool known as a goal-scoring winger or as an inside forward. He was never seen like that. Yes, he scored goals when he was at Fiorentina, at Roma, at Basel, but he was never. No one in them rightful minds thought that this youth from Egypt, Mohamed Salah, would score 44 goals. 6 goals shy of a half a century goals in one season. This Belgian will score 30 odd goals in Premier League, and he was the Premier League top scorer, I believe. Yes, he was the Premier League top scorer, and he become the Premier League top scorer again the following season with Aubameyang and Mane, I believe. Yeah, with Aubameyang, so all three of them share the golden boot. But not to get off track, man. But the point is this: Ronaldo made a big impact between them 2 seasons, scoring a lot of goals, and he was the main man to bring them to the Champions League final and winning the Premier League, of course. But you have to understand, say, this side sacrificed for Ronaldo. Liverpool didn't sacrifice for no Salah. Salah did his own thing. Mane did his own thing. It's not like Mane was doing the dirty work and Salah got most of the goal. That's not what happened. Mane was scoring goals too. Firmino was scoring goals too. Firmino go get 17 goals in the well, this is just the Premier League, but I have to say, just to show you how prominent. I feel heat at my foot. To show I was wondering if the plug was going on fire because I feel some heat at my foot. I was saying that to show you how prominent that front three was in their first season together. Salah, Firmino, and Mane. Firmino scored 17 goals in the Premier in the Champions League alone, with Ronaldo and 18. And you have Salah and Mane. Mane had 11, and I think Salah had 14 in the Champions League. But the Premier League, man, going back, like I said, it's not like Rooney had to do dirty work to allow Ronaldo to score all of them goals there. He had to drop. Yes, Rooney had to drop. Rooney had to drop. Not everybody go get the glory and not drop back. Someone have to do the dirty work and drop back and sacrifice, compromise for Ronaldo's glory. Compromise for Ronaldo getting the goals. Compromise so that the side is not unbalanced. Because you can't be having Ronaldo score all them goals and Rooney up there so too. One of them have to drop back. And because judging based on work rate, Rooney had to drop back. Because Rooney had the better work rate between the two, between Ronaldo and Rooney. And even in his prime time at United, man, between 07 and 09 Ronaldo, this person scored one Premier League hat-trick. This person scored one Premier League hat-trick, man. Yes, he was like 22, 23, and Salah was like 26, 27 at the time. I get that. But Ronaldo was already an established player. Personally, we're not expecting Salah to blow up the Premier League to blow up the Premier League like he did in his first season, scoring 44 goals. The person weren't expecting that. Person were not expecting that. Because they saw this Virgin as a renegade that flop at Chelsea and go leave the Premier League because he'll flop at Chelsea and he can't make the cut in the Premier League. So so Chelsea sold him. And he came out to the Premier League with a chip on his shoulder and go score 44 goals, with Firmino go scoring goals too, with Mane go scoring goals too, and Coutinho scoring goals too, until he go sell him in January to FC Barcelona, which was a flop. You see me? And they still score goals after they sold him to Barcelona. So what does that tell you? It's because of the tactics that cemented, grounded Liverpool by Jurgen Klopp. Jurgen Klopp is the main reason why them players got the most goals. They stayed high. They were narrow, but they stayed high. The wingers were not traditional wingers that would cross the ball into the box to the striker. They stayed high and narrow. They were like inside forwards, like you have Firmino here, so drop in, and you have Salah and Mane here, so they were not wingers that were way out, so they were narrow. You understand? And that is how they got them goals. As if I'm some tactician. But I'm saying that is how I saw in the games they played. They were not playing exact. And even when they play wide, they were in the box and score goals. So they were not going to stay out wide like traditional unorthodox wingers like this is the early 2000s or something. Not that type of football. No. If anything, the fullbacks were like wingers. The fullbacks were like wingers, man. Robertson and Trent Alexander-Arnold were at the byline while the front three were in the box. And the midfield did the dirty work. The midfield was not. The midfield did the dirty work. They were not amazing like that. That's the best way I can say. Ronaldo was a good player. He was actually an attacking player when he was at Newcastle. And then for some reason, he became a part of the midfield three and the dirty work too. So it became he became a graveyard shift worker. He became a work harder. He became he became a graveyard work shifter too. But the point is, I don't know if I'm getting to. I want to be finished by the 30th minute. But understand this. I'm not going up based off the Premier League goals because I believe Ronaldo. I believe Salah has, of course. This is not. I believe this is a fact. Salah has more Premier League goals than Ronaldo. The best way to judge them is based on the crucial games. Both of them were excellent in crucial games. Both of them at their peak. Again, these guys became players play of the year in the Premier League. They won golden boots. Man. And Salah did it. So for 9 years, this Virgin has been scoring a lot of goals, assisting a lot of assists. Even when he was not at his best, you still knew that this Virgin could have scored goals. Even when it was past, when it was like 2023, you knew that this Virgin could still find the back of the net with that left foot of his on that right wing when he could cut in. You knew that. Liverpool, Salah, he knew that he didn't have the pace no more that he had 4 years ago. That pace left him at least 2 years ago. At least. That pace of his deserted him. So he knew that his way of playing when he came to Liverpool, he can't play like that no more. Because that's going to expose him. He's going to get exposed if he go play like that, running down players, which he still does. But he's not running them down and beating them again and cutting in and he's not doing that. The rare times he still does that, but that's not a commonality as it was back in the day. He's more, like I said, he's more giving. He's not only receiving, he's giving, he's assisting, he's become more of a playmaker now. And even back in his day when he was scoring a lot of goals, he was still assisting, but he was not playmaking as he did as he does now. Ronaldo in his heyday was now a playmaker, but he still got a lot of assists. If you were to ask me who's the better talent in your heyday, Cristiano Ronaldo or Salah, of course, I'm not even a big fan of CR7, but in terms of this debate, in terms of talent in their prime, I would have to say Ronaldo is the biggest talent out of these two players. Salah is pace personified. They give this virgin space and he's going to cook you with it. He's going to cook you with it with MSG, with salt and black pepper. He's going to cook you if you give this virgin space. The difference between both of them is that Ronaldo left Manchester United. Again, listen, this virgin should have left after the 2007-2008 season, when they won the Champions League. Manchester United won the Champions League against Chelsea in the Champions League final. But he stayed. The players, including Giggs, Neville, and of course Alex Ferguson, convinced him to stay one more season. And that's what he did. He stayed for one more season. And then he go to Real Madrid. Now, the move was imminent, You understand this. This brethren, you have to understand Ronaldo and persons. This is why some persons say Ronaldo was a snake, this and that. Disloyal, this and that. The moment Ronaldo had that beef, that feud, if you will, with Rooney at the World Cup in 2006, Real Madrid saw a weakness. They saw a weakness and they wanted to pounce on the weakness. They sensed blood and they wanted to go for a kill. You have to understand that Real Madrid has been interested in Ronaldo since 2006. Zidane was leaving Real Madrid. Ronaldo was leaving Real Madrid. Although I think Ronaldo stayed, one more season, or I could be mistaken. Anyway, the point is, Real Madrid has been, so Ronaldo wanted to go Real Madrid ever since then, and he stayed for 3 more seasons. 3 more seasons, yeah, he stayed for 3 more seasons, and he became the best player in the Premier League in them 3 seasons, in them 3 more seasons. But why I say Salah is the better legend in the Premier League over him is because he's done it even in his later 30s. Yes, Ronaldo came back to United and he became our best player and scored over 20 goals and became one of the top scorers in the Premier League at the age of 36, 37. But understand, says Salah, why I chose Salah is because Salah had more to his game. Not just scoring goals, Salah had more to his game. Yes, this is not a Salah that's 36, 37 yet. I get that. We have to understand this is an era where defenders are very fast and they may not be techie. Well, they're more techie with their foot, but they may not be talented. Techie, they may pass on the back due to the coach they have. What I'm saying is that Salah is the better legend out of the two because of the lengthy period he's done it for. Who knows if this Virgin would have done it, Ronaldo? I'm pretty sure he would have done it for as long as he could if he didn't go to Real Madrid. But personally, we're not expecting Salah to become Salah of Liverpool. And this Virgin going to do it for 9 years. This Virgin is the modern day god for Liverpool. And he's leaving them. Yes, it's about time that he left Liverpool. I thought he was supposed to leave Liverpool 2 years ago in 2004, 2003, 2024, 2023. My brain fart. I have a problem with my brain. But he's come to realization, say he's not that guy no more. His name Salah still creates a fear factor, but the fear factor is not in the player. The player is not the same player as he once was. He's not the same player. And Salah, the player, knows that. Because he's the player. So he knows himself. He knows he can't be players like that. And I guess the guy, he's burnt out, man. Look at the players that he played with. They all left out. They all left out. The only 3 players left from that golden era of Liverpool is Alisson, Virgil van Dijk, who's not going to stay for a long time either. He's Virgin 35. So, he's on the back net too. So he's going to leave at some point too. And Robertson, who is past his prime for a good while now too. He's past his prime for a good while. So Salah made the right choice to leave Liverpool. Who is out of the two, Ronaldo or Mohamed Salah, who is the better legend for you? I don't believe I explain myself the way I wanted to. I'm not the best at explaining stuff, but that's the best way I can explain it, man. I'm going off a camera, bro. Like, I don't have no notes in front of me. I didn't think this thing through. I just opened my phone, went in camera, and started videoing. And I just started talking. I just started tick-tocking and started in my mouth. But I still had the thought in my head that Salah is the better legend in the Premier League than Ronaldo. Ronaldo did how much years in Premier League? He did 6 years before he left for Real Madrid, and he came back. And he left again when everything all came and got sell him. So that's like seven years and some change. And I say some change because he played some games in the Eric Ten Hag era, and everything I didn't favor him because he was a big ego. Salah is the better legend for me, bro. Especially in his prime years. If you want to go off of prime years, it has to be Salah. Salah didn't have the players that Ronaldo had at Manchester United, and he made a big name for himself out of them. Again, the players in Ronaldo's time, in Ronaldo's prime, between 2007 2009, they played up to this guy. They played up to Ronaldo. They pandered to him, so to speak. They pandered to him. They had the players, the strike, Tevez had to drop, Rooney had to drop. Berbatov was a deep line striker anyway, so him dropping is his thing anyway, so he still did that. But they still scored him goals. But I'm saying that Mane wasn't dropping for no Salah. Firmino drop anyway, but that's due to the tactics. That's how Klopp, and he's a false nine anyway. He's not no striker. He's no traditional all-out striker. Firmino, he's not no all-out striker. He drops to allow Salah and Mane to do them thing up so. And Firmino still got his goal shares. He still got his goal shares. He still got his share of goals, and he wasn't sacrificing nothing for no team. He's just a false nine, and any false nine is going to drop to bamboozle the defender. Cause if the false nine drop, the defender who is marking him have to drop too. What do you think that's going to create for Salah and Mane running inside? Space. That is why when they gave Liverpool space in their heyday between 2016, more so 2017 to 2019, I would say, or 2022, they would kick, they would cook you. They would cook you if you get them a lot of space. Anyway, I'm out of here. So out of these two, who you believe? And yes, Salah, we appreciate. I've seen you score a lot of goals against Manchester United. I've lived long enough to tell the tale. Y'all beat us 7-0 in 2023, March 2023, at least 3 years ago. Y'all beat us at Old Trafford 5-0, and Salah go get a hat-trick, and he got other goals too. Salah's going to be missed in the Premier League. I think most persons know that, but he's going to be missed, man. He's a modern era legend in the Premier League. Yeah, man. Yeah, we have to give this guy his flowers, bro. Again, nobody saw what this brethren was going to do when his brethren hit England soil again in 2017 when he came after Liverpool go sign him. We have to give him credits now. We have to give him credits. And I don't even like Liverpool like that. But as an objective fan, being objective, I have to come to the simple facts that this brethren came to the Liverpool to the Premier League and lit up the Premier League. He did. In his own way and got a lot of goals. Became a Liverpool legend and a Premier League legend. And in my opinion, this brethren is a bigger Premier League legend than Cristiano Ronaldo. Leave your comments in the comment section, like and subscribe to the channel, hit the bell as well so that you can be notified on each upload based on Manchester United news, Manchester United games, previews and match reviews, that type of stuff. And I'll show you guys next video podcast. I'm out.